Hey guys, I just want to give a little tiny warning. This chapter does get a little spicy, but not like where I have to post it on Patreon. So just let you know that some things are going to be giving the treatment. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. Long minutes, hours, days passed in which Akaza and I remained in silence. The silent doom of the knowledge threatening to take us both, leaving us questioning everything that had happened. The time during which I also spent simply reminding myself of all of it. Not just what had occurred, but reminding myself of all that I had been before. The life I had, the one I'd begun to build with the demon at my side. Which, apparently, still remained true, regardless of the fact that over the last few days, Akaza had hardly stepped 2 feet out of reach of me. Yet, this, at the same time, kept his eyes on high alert. Fear, he had admitted to me in the first few times during which we spoke. Fear drove him forward, away from my former estate, where I had killed my own mother, the mother that had turned a demon, by the king that had in turn changed me as well. That was the other part, knowing that the sunlight would turn me to ash on the wind with so much as a ray of its speck opposed on my new immortal body. But Akaza was an expert at keeping out of it, and had kept the both of us safe amongst the forest that had begun all too well. Currently, stepped atop a broken tree before a small fire, the only one in which Akaza allowed us to make after 3 days of running. I allowed myself to close my eyes, even for a moment. Akaza was instructively there, crouching before me. He gripped my hands, taking both of them in his own. "What's wrong? Do you feel something?" I opened my eyes, meeting his labeled gaze, one filled with worry and curiosity. Curiosity for what he'd begun to wonder about the last few days. I shook my head. "No, I feel nothing," as I said. Since I'd awakened, I felt nothing but the new body, adjusting to it. The elegance and grace that came along with the hunger that began to tear at me. But I had known when Akaza had asked me all those times that he was asking for a different feeling. One that gave me any hints as to my connection with his previous master. Yet there was no tug within my chest, no summoning or command from Muzan. Perhaps it was his way of playing with me, with the both of us. "You are sure?" he asked again. I frowned. "Yes." His eyes narrowed, pink brows furrowing as he eyed me from head to toe. I allowed him to read me, to see the truth I spoke. He tugged away his head, then, "I don't understand," he whispered. "Don't understand what?" I asked with equal quiet. "I'm sure that this was his goal, to turn you and use your powerful mix of blood to create a weapon he himself would wield." Rage flickered, twisting his features. "And yet, he let us go? Let you go?" I bit my lip, humming. "I don't know, Akaza." "How is it that you feel nothing aside from this mortal powerness?" I shook my head. "I already said, I don't know." Irritation began to itch at me. "Isn't it enough that we escaped? That we managed to escape? Survive?" Akaza only turned away. "It means nothing if he will find you later, and use you when it hurts the most." Not just for me. I realized with a pause, but for him, to see me used the way he had been for decades. I broke free from his grip on my hands, placing them on either side of his cheeks, drawing his attention back, and he watched me carefully. I swallowed, letting out a deep breath. "I was prepared to die in that room," I said quietly, uttering those words I hadn't even begun the process of analyzing within myself. And Akaza flinched, a shake of my head. I was prepared, because I believed it was the end I deserved, the end that was to be mine after finding you, after my time with you. The demon opened his mouth, but I continued. "Borrowed time, was it not? From the start, it was always borrowed time. Even so, I was forever grateful that through my life of misery, I had found you. My eyes had begun to burn, but I blinked past it. You were worth it. In the end, you will always be worth it. My Akaza. He had gone still enough that I leaned forward, brushing my lips against his own. He shuddered, and it only then resurfaced that it was our first brush of intimacy since everything. I said into his pale lips, the time I had was more than I deserved, and I will continue to enjoy every moment we have, even if Muzan despises it. I pulled away long enough, and if he does decide to turn, will you do that too? His eyes darted across the pans of my face, and his breath caught, as if realizing how close we were to each other, as well as what I was asking him. Especially as I kissed him again. Kissed him, simply because I could, because I needed him. His response was revealed well enough. Still crouched before me, he wrapped his arms around my waist, pulling me to him, and I sighed, savoring the feeling of his lips upon my own. Again and again, Akaza matched the pace of our movements. His tongue brushed up against my mouth as he growled, and I allowed him. There was us. Hands rolling, chest heaving, because we could, because we had both survived, and grappled onto each other as if the other might slip away again with a blink. Akaza pulled away, panting, his lips swollen, his eyes ablaze, and he moved his jaw, humming against my skin. I will kill him, he muttered, licking the sensitive area. I arched into it, even more so as the death promised in his words. But if he revenge is to come later, he growled against my skin, canines hovering over the tundered flesh. I sucked in a breath as he spoke. If that is truly what you wish for. I could feel the tension lacing with his very muscles, the need for him to kill, to remain. Yet, if I do not wish it, Akaza would wait. I am demon now, I said, tilting my head up to give him better access as he explored me. But a part of me always had been. Remember? He kissed up my jaw, eyes set in a furious and desire. From the moment I met you, I had the blood of a demon within me. I said with a sharp sigh as he exhaled from me. I do not mind becoming an equal with you, Akaza, even if it means he will come for me again someday. Akaza halted, still kneeled before me, frozen entirely as he peeled back from me enough that our breaths mingled, his eyes growing wider. My heart galloped within my chest heaving and rising as I wrapped his own. What is it? When I first met you, he panted, I had noticed the strange scent you bore, the aura that revealed itself before you killed your targets. My eyes flashed back to that first encounter, when Akaza had trailed me for days. He shook his head, as if realizing it. I vowed to never harm a woman, and yet from the moment I laid eyes upon you, I could almost taste it, and had to fight to keep from pouncing you. I thought, maybe at first it had been because of my own annoyance of the assignment, but I shook in a breath. Perhaps that is why I viewed you so differently. From the very start, someone of equal power of my own, of equal strength, as someone who could truly match me in every way. It all came back to me. Those days where Akaza had refused to let me leave, forced me to train, perhaps because a part of him knew that the potential I had was there, but hidden, even if he hadn't realized it yet. I think, he mumbled, bringing his mouth closer and closer to my own, that you were always meant to be mine. From the very start. I could feel the truth in his words, because even I could recall the way his very self had drawn to me, the part of him that I couldn't say no to, even after he had beaten me in that fight. I surged forward and kissed him. I was meant to be yours, he hummed, gripping me tighter once more, and when he let out a slight whimper at my hands as I rolled through his hair, pulling him closer, none of it mattered. Muzan, my new life, none of it mattered as Akaza explored me. Together, I said, hardly able to get enough air in. Whatever happens, we face it together. He only kissed me harder, hands exploring, pulling me forward until I was no longer sat on a log, but rather his lap, the same position in which we had first kissed. Akaza seemed to realize it too. Together then? I smiled against him. We had both survived, the both of us had survived. Even if the changes of it were threatening to bring me down so far I could never rise again. With Akaza here, there was a part of me that never wanted to fall. I laid him down onto the forest ground, still atop of him. I let out a small noise with the sensation of every soft part of me lined up with every hard part of him, and even more so at the fact that, more so than before, we were equals now. I had wanted to become a demon for the very reason, all those weeks ago, to become the same as him, the one who I admired so fiercely. Because I did not believe that becoming a demon was a bad thing, not with Akaza at my side. Akaza broke free from my mouth as I hung over him. His hands gripped at my hips gently but firmly as his mouth latched onto my neck again, claiming me once more, claiming me as the demon I was, but somehow always had been this from the start. His. I was his, and he bent down ever so slightly, and the pain that danced across my skin made stars dance across my vision. Pleasure rippled through me at the feeling, even as my immortal skin began to stitch back together. I moaned, and suddenly Akaza was underneath me, as if the sound alone was enough. We survived. I reminded him, somehow feeling the need to, and Akaza tilted his head back onto the mossy ground, exposing his own throat as I grounded against him. Only for me would he allow someone to top him like this, straddling him with their legs as I did so. If Muzan comes for me, if he comes to fulfill his desires, we will face it together. I pant, and Akaza's hips buckle in response, and I yell the sensation at the area he pressed against. His hands rolled through my thighs, along my closed chest, and up to my as if he were memorizing every inch of it. Yan, he growled, I shuddering as I moved the top of him. The way he said my name set a fire into my veins. I gasped, and everything became secondary as Akaza suddenly got up, carrying me in his arms. His mouth was back onto my own, his tongue still working wonders, until we backed up against the tree, holding my legs around him. I need to know, he said, tearing himself from me, setting me down. I couldn't stop the heat that poured everywhere at once, could hardly focus on his words. I need to know, he repeated, that you accept this, that you are okay with this. Not just becoming a demon, I realized, but joining with him, becoming this. I smiled, huffing a laugh. I thought we already decided this. He narrowed his eyes, and I grinned again, kissing him deeply against the tree. I accept you. I always have, Akaza. Until the end. He moved so fast I could barely register it as suddenly our strength collided and we tangled in each other, exploding every second in the feeling against the tree in the forest. With only the fire that seemed to sparkle at every bit of contact. Together we promised each other. Right up until it was nothing but skin to skin, and Akaza made his move onto me. Every thought escaped, every inch of sorrow somehow binding through that. The words echoed. Together. I was nobody's pawn, never Muzan's. I did not belong to anyone, even Akaza. I was his equal, and he was mine. With Akaza, I had nothing to be frightened of, and when it comes to the Demon King, there is nothing I wouldn't do to keep away from him, if it meant for being with Akaza. Every stroke of the demon sent stars across my vision, half binding me from the sense of time. Pleasure rippled through my spine, still pressed against the back of the tree as he held me. Never would I allow Muzan to take me again. I would fight that bond every inch of myself, never submit and never bow. Never. Akaza didn't take himself off me, even during the long hours afterwards. he held me, a fire in his eyes that confronted me more than anything else. Determination and hope. Hope for a better life, and a life that would begin for the both of us. Muzan smiled to himself, watching the city before him. He could remember seeing her not so long ago, sensing that blood as she stalked her prey under the dark cloak, an assassin with blood of a demon. Muzan had her now, and it was because of the fact that he allowed her to leave with him. His upper moon had beguilingly failed him. It doesn't matter much. A loss for him, yes, but also a win. A win because he now had the mix that he had never believed was possible. A union of bloodlines. The Demon King reached for that thread, the bond that tied them together. He would use her, and perhaps make her his new Upper Moon 3, or perhaps his second in command. Soon enough, the demon slayers will surrender under the power of him, the king, the power of his demons. Muzan grappled for that thread, willing her to obey. A few days of hope would be enough for them, he decided. So, that treacherous thread, who had foolishly given up everything for her, would only have days with her before she was whisked away and forced to become a weapon of the ages. Somehow a thread in his cobweb. He couldn't find it. The bond. His brows twitched together ever so slightly. There was nothing. His commanding of demons came so easily as breathing. And yet, there was no thread. No tenders to gather the demon he allowed to escape his grasp. The king grounded his teeth together. I summon you. But nothing. Not a single response. Not even defiance. Not even the thread tear. The way Akaza is now reminded, along with her wretched fathers, there was nothing, as if the bond linking her to the Demon Kings had never been. Muzan-ki Putsuri lifted his head to the sky and roared.